مصاحبه سیمای آزادی با لیندا چاوز، مدیر پیشین روابط عمومی کاخ سفید.
First of all, after so many years participating in the Free Iran events all over the world, also in Paris, what are your main impressions about this year's gatherings, considering what is going on in Iran?
Well, first of all, I was overwhelmed by the speeches yesterday when the Paris authorities shut down the rally. It was a great disappointment. Many thousands of people had come from all over the world to participate. And, you know, in the United States, we have the First Amendment, and free speech is sacrosanct. You cannot touch it. So I was very disappointed that they shut it down. However, what was a very basically uplifting was the response of the people who came to participate. And I think now more than ever, we need the NCRI, we need the leadership of Maryam Rajavi to stand firm and to say that there can be no change without regime change, but it must come from the Iranian people. And I think that has always been her message. And I think it is a message that is the right message at this time. Well, I think the only viable alternative is for the Iranian people to decide who their leaders will be. And I think what Mrs. Rajavi has committed herself to is to putting forth elections soon, to have the Iranian people make their choice. And she is committed in her 10-point plan to all of the principles that I think are absolutely vital. You must have separation of religion and the state. You must have absolute equality, not just between men and women, but equality for all of the various minorities within Iran. You must have free speech. You must have a free press. You must have an independent judiciary. All of that she has laid out. And I think her commitment to those principles are what distinguish her from some of the alternatives. I mean, we know that the former Shah's son is asserting that he has some sort of leadership role, but he's been living a very comfortable life in America since the revolution. He's shown no leadership in trying to pull together the Iranian diaspora, whereas Mrs. Rajavi has spent years, decades, putting together this organization, putting together this movement. Well, my experience goes back to the early 1990s when I was the U.S. expert to the United Nations Human Rights Subcommission. That was the first encounter I had with the PMOI and the MEK. And my experience has always been that they focus on issues and on principles. And the idea that because you have a very charismatic leader, to then call all of her members and those who follow her lead, members of a cult, I think is just wrong. You know, natural leaders are born and made, and Maryam Rajavi is clearly a natural leader.
Mm-hmm. And about before the Ashraf residents went to Albania, you were defending them as they were in Iraq, and then you met them personally in Ashraf 3. Tell us about that experience in meeting them and talking to them.
It was wonderful to finally meet them. They were basically in a camp. They weren't allowed to leave. They were disarmed. You know, it's amazing to me that they voluntarily gave up all of their weapons, which, by the way, would have been useful at a certain time in history. And so it really was commendable. And I know, speaking to my American counterparts, many of the military officials who were present at Camp Ashraf, Camp Liberty, as it was called, which there was no liberty in Iraq. So it was very heartwarming to find that they would eventually be resettled. And it was wonderful to actually meet them in person. These are people who have suffered torture. They've lost family members. They themselves have been victimized over and over again. And so it was very heartwarming to meet them.
And you have also experienced meeting with women of this resistance who have a prominent role in this battle. How do you assess the role of the Iranian women in the fight against the regime ruling Iran?
Well, what is so interesting about the PMOI and the NCRI is the role of women, because you do not see them in any of the other so-called dissident movements that claim to be promoting a free Iran. It is mostly, certainly with former Shah's son, you know, it's a very male-dominated. So the fact that women play such an important role is important in and of itself, but it is also a symbolical rebuke to the Iranian regime, because, of course, women are not even treated as second-class citizens. They are more treated like chattel than they are like citizens of Iran. And so I think the fact that women play such an important role is a very important message to the people of Iran. It is a rebuke to the regime in Iran, and I think it is a symbol of hope for women around the world. Basically, just every time I come, I'm inspired. I always leave feeling that this is going to succeed. It has to succeed. And I think that gives me hope in a time when there are not a lot of bright lights right now in the world. So that gives me hope.
What would you say to those people about all those years you experienced with the Iranian people and their resistance?
I would say that this is a battle which they had to win. And it really shows, I mean, we heard yesterday from the former foreign minister of Ukraine. You know, Ukraine is another example of a country that I very much admire. And it's very clear to me that nobody else can save you. Nobody else can give you liberty. It has to come from the people themselves. And so what I would say is the wait has been long. It has been tortuous. Many people have given their lives for it, but in the end, it speaks to a better future for Iran and for the Iranians of the future.
We thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.